Hey guys, it's Chey. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and if you're not, hey boo. So for today's video, I created this beautiful look that you see using the new Nomad Greek Odyssey collection. In this collection, you do get 3 products. So you get a blush balm, you also get a blush highlighter, and then of course you get a gorgeous eyeshadow palette. This collection does launch on Monday, April 27th at 5 p.m. So get your clocks ready, and you can use my code MUASHY at checkout to save some money. I will have it listed in the description box, and also the pricing for this palette and for the collection. So if you guys want to see my thoughts, then if you guys like it here, if you like my vibe, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get into this tutorial. So for today's video, I am wearing a little blue and white action to channel my inner Greece, because I was kindly sent the Nomad Greek Odyssey collection. This does come with 3 different products. You get an eyeshadow palette, of course, and then you get these 2 balms right here. This one is the Greek Odyssey Color Adapting Blush Balm. This is the pH Color Adapting Blush Balm. So this is very interesting. And then we have this highlighter balm. So it's kind of a pinky gold color. This is very interesting for Nomad. So I love that they are branching out and trying new formulas. So let's see what it's giving. This is the Greek Odyssey palette. It says it's designed on a creative odyssey sailing the Greek Isles' storied waters, proud supported of Heyyyy. With Nomad Cosmetics, they do donate their proceeds to a cause. I'm not really sure the price point on this palette, but I'm guessing it's going to be around the $59 price range. I will have it on the screen what the price is. This collection is going to launch Monday, April 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so mark your calendars. And with this collection, Nomad does like to do like a destination series, and they are doing a Greek Odyssey for this. It says set sail on a color-drenched Odyssey, a collection of 8 Hellenic hues inspired by a voyage through the stunning Greek Isles. It features 3 mesmerizing multichromes, 6 enchanting shimmers, and 9 goddess-worthy mattes, okay? The description sounds like a dream, okay? It says each color is crafted with extra fine pigments and pearls for rich color and jewel-like shimmer. It's infused with olive fruit oil, and the formula helps keep the skin soft and colors vivid no matter where your Odyssey takes you. So the destination for this is the Greek Isles. The coordinates are sea, sun, and sirens. And the inspiration is the Odyssey. They are a proud supporter of the IC, so that is who they are going to be donating through. Now that I've given you a little bit of background on this collection, let me show you what the palette looks like. This is what the color of the packaging looks like. I love the blue and white and the pop of gold on the borders. And when you open it up, this is the beautiful color story. With this color story, they do kind of have all the mattes on one side and the shimmers on the other, which I personally love because it makes it a little bit more approachable. So I do like that they are switching up the layouts of their palettes. So let's dive in to creating a look. I do have my skin pretty bare because I want to kind of see what these balms are giving first. I do have really oily skin, and I'm just really nervous about the balms like peeling under foundation. So I kind of want to get a feel of what the balms feel like. We're going to start with the Color Adapting Blush Balm. So you do have 3 rows. So I'm just going to mix them all together. So usually with color adapting shades, it is like a really pretty pink. So I'm just going to apply this on the cheek like a cheek stain. And that looks really, really pretty, a really nice flush of color. And I will say that this is a very thin color. So I feel like if you were like on the go and you just wanted a little flush of color to just go out with, this is really nice. Yeah, the color is not super intense on me, which I prefer. I don't want anything too crazy, and it just gives that nice bitten flush on the cheek. I'm not sure how this is going to mesh with foundation, so we're just gonna leave this on the skin and just let it do its thing. But so far I really do like this, and I'm not really a blush balm type of girl. It applied really smoothly. It's not like greasy or thick. So when I hear balm, it makes me literally want to run, but this is a very thin formula and it kind of dries down as well. So I'm just gonna let that soak in and we're gonna get on to the eyeshadow portion. I'm gonna prime the eyes using the P. Louise base, and I'm just taking Rumor number 5. I'm just going to blend this out, and y'all know I love a good shimmer. Unlike the last collection, they did put the shimmers and mattes together. So with the Cruise collection, they gave us 2 separate palettes priced at $39 each. So I'm really expecting this to be around the $60 price range. But we'll see, because it does say like intense color. So maybe they have enhanced their formula. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a price increase for that. I really want to play with the grays. So we're going to dip into Nostos. And y'all, I do not speak Greek at all, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing any of these words correctly. And I'm just going to add this as my transition shade. And this is very light. I feel like this would look good on the lid as well. So I'm just trying to get a feel of how their colors work. And then to deepen it up, I'm going into the darker gray called Olympus. And we are just going to tap this right here just to kind of deepen that transition shade, just so it's not super harsh, because with grays it can get pretty ashy and I'm not having any issues blending. Taking a smudger brush, I'm going back into Olympus and I'm really just going to stamp on, and as you can see, this really gives depth. So it just depends on your brush, because this is the same shade, but as you can see, I'm getting more of that depth that I'm looking for. So your brushes definitely play a role in how the pigment is going to show up. So the fluffier the brush, the more diffused the pigment is going to be. And the smaller the brush, the darker and more intense the shadow is going to be. So I'm just going to go back with my fluffy brush with no added product and just using that to blend the edges. That is absolutely stunning. That is gorgeous. To set the lid, I'm taking Ithaca, which is more of a mint color, and I'm just going to use that to set the lid. I love being able to add like a pastel on the lid and blend Nostress onto the lid here. I think for shimmer, like Gaia is really calling my name, but so is Athena. So I think I'm gonna start with Athena. And I'm just going to pop this into the center. Oh, that is beautiful. This is really pretty. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of Gaia on top. Yeah, to bring out more of that mint color. Oh, that is stunning. She's pretty. I'm just gonna take a smaller brush and I'm gonna take Pegasus, which is that matte white, and I'm just gonna brighten up the inner corner with this because I want the inner corner to have a nice light pop. And then I'm taking Ithaca and just popping that here so we have a nice even brighter pastel. That is absolutely pretty. That is really bright and electrifying. So we're just gonna do that and blend it. So now I'm just gonna take a little bit of black liner. I'm gonna line the lash line using this liquid liner from e.l.f. I like to do my eyeliner in like a diagonal because it just gives my face like that lift. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply lashes and do the other eye off camera, and then we're gonna try out this highlighter balm. The highlighter balm does say that it is for the face and body, so we'll see what it's giving, but let me just go ahead and do the other eye off camera and I'll be back. We're back and this is what the eyes are giving. It's really pretty. I feel like it's definitely giving fairy vibes, but it really does give like coastal deep waters. I really like how the eyes look so far, so let's get into the base. I do have some newer products, so we're gonna kind of just speed through the base because I want to see how it's gonna act with the PH blush. As you can see, it has calmed down, so it's not really as pink. I personally like to underpaint. I'm going to be taking the Too Faced Melting Bronzing Stick in Chocolate Mocha, and we are just going to apply her on. I really just like to add my bronzer underneath foundation. And this smells so good and it literally just melts into the skin. I'm going to be blending it out using this Morphe MFX2. I feel like this is a great alternative to the Makeup by Mario brush. And so far with me blending on the cheek, there's no grabbing and there's no type of peeling so far. So that's really good to hear because I was really nervous about how it was gonna react adding products on top. Now that the face is looking nice and bronzed, we're gonna go ahead and color correct these under eye bags. Now that I got a different face piece for my sleep apnea machine, my little bruise is going away. There will be no more bruising around the face, so I'm really happy about that. So I'm just waiting for the bruising to go away. So color correcting is still a must for me. For foundation, I am going to be taking the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is the newly reformulated version and I am in the shade 6W1 Sandalwood. I personally like to dot on my foundation just so I can control the amount that I'm using. And then we're just going to blend the edges with the foundation. And with no extra product, I'm just going to tap here on the cheeks. With that blush balm, my cheeks are a little bit enhanced with the texture. I can see more of like the bumps. It's not as smooth as it normally looks, but we'll see how everything comes together once I set the face. For concealer, I'm going to be taking the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Concealer. So I do have two shades. So I'm starting out with this more natural shade, which is 11 Tan, and we're just going to take a little bit right here. Now this is more of a full coverage concealer, so you really don't need a lot. So I'm just trying to be mindful with how much I use. Keyword is mindful because y'all know I love a good full beat. I only dipped into the product one time and it gave me this beautiful coverage. So now let's blend it out with the sponge, starting underneath the eyes, just because I don't want it to dry down. And that looks absolutely beautiful. I'm also going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury concealer in the new shade that I got, which is 6.5 medium, to do my inner corner pop. This is my first time trying out this shade, so I'm not sure how bright it is, and I don't want to use too much of it, and I feel like this is a good amount. With this concealer, a little bit goes a long way, so I am just gonna focus that right here. I feel like this is the perfect color combination because it gives me that brightness without looking like really crazy and ashy. For my blush, I'm going to be taking the Nomad Paris La Boheme face palette. So these are all cream blushes. I'm going to take Reverie and Aurora. I'm going to start with Reverie, and we are just going to pop that here, and that is really pretty. I really like this blush palette because it is nice and blurring on the cheek, so hopefully that'll help this balm that I got going on. Using a brush with this palette works the best. I did try to use my fingers before. The brush works better. That is a gorgeous color. So now I'm going to take a more, which is more of a red, and I'm just going to kind of pop that here just to give like a good ombre, because this is more of like a cherry red color, and I feel like that PH blush was giving more like bitten, so we're gonna go a little bitten on the cheeks. Okay, to set the under eyes, I'm gonna be taking the Glamlite Banana Cream Pie Powder. I love this powder, and I'm just taking that on a powder puff, and I'm literally just pressing it into the under eyes, and this is nice and blurring and smoothing. To set the bronzer, I'm going to be taking this Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer in Chocolate Lava. I personally wish that they had this in Chocolate Mocha, because I'm not sure how this shade is going to look. The shade under Chocolate Lava is just a little too red for me, so we're gonna see. Hopefully this isn't super cool tone. Actually, that's perfect. It's very pigmented. Yeah, it's giving all the bronze. This is perfect. You definitely want to be light-handed with this powder. And taking a fluffy brush, we're just going to do a little nose contour to just set that. And I am trying to go pretty light-handed because this bronzer is really pigmented. And I'm just making sure I take it into the brows to really connect it with the eyes. That way we don't have such a blank space right here in the front. So now we're going to finish up the lower lash line, and I kind of want to play with the blues. I'm going to go into this blue called Elysium, which is more of a cobalt blue, and we are just going to add that to the lower lash line. And that is really pretty. And y'all know I am not a blue eyeshadow type of girl, but this really goes with my outfit, so I feel like that's really pretty. To blend out the edges, I'm just taking my bronzer and just running it underneath the lower lash line just to diffuse the edges. Just to touch up that inner corner, I'm going back into that matte white. and popping it right here on the lower lash line. And I think I kind of want to leave it like this. I really like the dimension of the white being at the bottom. I think I'm gonna leave it. I think that's really cute. So I think I want to add a pop of color to the waterline. Taking this LA Girl eyeliner in Fresh, we're gonna add this to the waterline. That's cute. I'm gonna dust off the face using this Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is in 330 Toffee Caramel. And I'm just gonna use that to dust off this powder. The last product that I have to use is the Balm highlighter. Now, this is going to make or break the look, but I just want to add a touch of it on. It doesn't really feel like a balm, so we'll see how this goes. It feels kind of dry. It's not like powdery, but it doesn't feel like a balm. So, ooh, that is actually really pink. And I'm just tapping this on, and we're gonna tap it right here on the high points of the cheek. Because it is a balm, it kind of picked up a little bit of my base, but the color is really pretty. That is a beautiful pink. I just don't know if I will use a balm. So let me just go ahead and do my lip combo off camera and refresh the skin, and we'll get into my thoughts on this collection. This is what the final look is giving, y'all. I'm obsessed, okay? First and foremost, I'm absolutely obsessed, but let's talk about these products. The first product that I want to talk about is this highlighter balm. As you can see, it is really nice and beautiful on the cheek. You get a nice pink glow. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to work on lighter skin tones because on me it is very pink. It is really pretty though, and it looks really gorgeous. I actually wasn't expecting to like it like I do. You probably definitely want to use your fingers with applying this because I'm not sure how it's going to work with a brush. I feel like a brush is going to really pick up the product rather than like tapping it. Next time, I definitely want to try to warm it up on my skin first and then apply it. But it looks really, really beautiful on the skin. I really like it. Now, for this blush cheek product, I will probably only use this like when I'm doing a no makeup day. This is really just gonna give a really light flush of color for me. Now, using this underneath my makeup, nothing was disturbed. I didn't have any issues with my cheek area. The only thing is that my cheek area is not as smooth as it normally is whenever I use my base products. On bare skin, it works absolutely great. And let's talk about this Nomad Greek Odyssey palette. This is a beautiful stunner. I really do like how half of the palette is matte and the other half is shimmer. I feel like all of these matte colors are very complementary to each other. They'll blend together no matter what color you choose, which I love. And then you do get more pops of color with the shimmer, which I personally love. I kept the eyeshadow pretty safe for me just to see how I feel about this palette. And the shimmers are so gorgeous. With this palette, you definitely want to do eyes first because there will be some follow. It is a very shimmery and flaky formula, so just be mindful of that, or just use a NYX glitter glue to really stick it. And I feel like using your finger is really going to amp up the shimmer. Now, I only used a brush and the shimmer is so pretty. I think I actually want to take a little bit of this green. I'm gonna take a little bit of Elion right on my finger, and I'm just gonna apply that right on the outer corner. Oh yeah, That is pretty. Just to kind of bring in more of the green. Yeah, and using the finger definitely enhances the shimmer, so I'm really obsessed. That's really perfect. Honestly, you can't go wrong with your finger or a brush with this palette. Now, at first when I was using the grays, it did kind of remind me of the Ghost Town USA palette, but I will say in the Ghost Town palette, the grays are more moody and they have more depth. This is kind of like an ocean gray type of color, so it definitely gives beach. I've never been to Greece, so I'm not really sure what the waters are like, but it definitely gives like ocean and like clear. I feel like the eyes definitely give like beach and ocean vibes. So I'm really excited. I feel like the pop of blue in the waterline was the perfect added touch, along with taking the darker blue underneath the lash line to really bring out the colors. I was kind of skeptical when it came to this collection, but this is a really curated collection. It's really thought out. I really just love the packaging. I love the color story. I love that the color story matches the theme. I had absolutely no problem blending out any of the mattes. They're really pigmented. I will say with the Route 66, that formula is more buildable. Now with this one, it is very intense, so a little bit goes a long way, and you know, slow and steady wins the race. So you can tell that they definitely enhanced the matte formula with this palette and also the shimmers. They're absolutely gorgeous. Let me know what your thoughts are on this Nomad Greek Odyssey collection. Are you guys picking anything up? I definitely think out of everything, the palette is definitely the star of the show. I do have a code with Nomad Cosmetics. It is gonna be MUA Chey, and I will also have it listed in the description box. That way you can save some money. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.